Hey everyone, there was another shooting last night in Toronto, and this was entirely predictable. Uh, Unless you have, blatantly tried to avoid politics in the last few years, anybody would have seen this coming, and people should not be shocked. This is what our Canadian government has done to us, and it's going to keep happening. So just expect more of these shootings and expect more death on the streets of our major cities and smaller villages. This is also coming your way as well. So there's only two explanations for this. The first one is that this guy was completely insane and went on a shooting rampage. Now, he shot 14 people. 2 of them are confirmed dead as of now, and some other are still in hospital. So we could see the death toll rise on this one. And the only explanation we could have for this is that this guy had some kind of a mental illness, psychiatric disorder. So something like schizophrenic paranoia or bipolar disorder, one of those things that would prompt him to get up and decide to shoot people at random for no obvious reason. So the reason could be obvious to him, as in he thinks everybody is an alien and he needs to shoot them because he's in like War of the Worlds or something, or it could be something he just felt like it, right? So all of those could be attributable to some kind of a mental disease. Now, the other possibility is, of course, terrorism. And, when you think about which kind of ideology carries out the most terrorism in the world, it's not hard to put it together. So that could be the only reason. I believe we can actually rule out gang violence, because gangs typically attack each other and then you get 1 or 2 people stuck in the crossfire and they'll die that way. But this guy went out and targeted 14 random people, probably wanted to target more, but only had a chance to shoot 14. And it's unlikely that it was a gang-related incident. So it leaves us really the two possibilities that I've already brought up. Now, we can't bring up gun control on this because Canada is fully gun controlled. So I would love to see any leftist arguments on gun control in our situation, because we do not have a Second Amendment like you guys have in the States. And as we are already heavily regulated, it's extremely difficult to obtain a firearm in Canada, especially a handgun. So it's much easier for us to get hunting rifles, shotguns, but to actually have a conceal and carry or just a carrying permit for a handgun is extremely, extremely difficult. So that means he's likely to have obtained that fire weapon very illegally. So the gun control laws mean nothing in Canada. So, but I think when I was thinking about this, reading this morning, what we can learn the most is what is not being told by the CBC and the media. What's not being told. So the 2 things that are not being told to us are the name of the suspect and a picture. And those 2 things being omitted from all news reports systematically is very, very telling. Very, very telling. If this had been a white guy carrying out this crime, his name would not only be in the articles themselves, but all over the headlines. And his picture would be next. It would be like the main media piece, the main visual that the media would select for all of this. Would be his picture next to a crime scene, right? That's traditionally how the media seems to do things. So that tells us that we can, by virtue of them omitting to put a picture or the name of the suspect, we can actually rule out pretty much all white guys. Because if you've been following the rise of the racism against white people in the last few years, and this is happening in Canada, there is a concerted effort by all media outlets to target white males. The media does it, the education system does it. So anytime they have a chance to abuse and target white people, they do it. They do it. So they haven't done it in this case, which leads me to believe you're not putting a picture, which means to me, based on your own track record in the media and in education, and diversity hires, that this is not a white male who did this. And had this been a white male, it's very interesting that the police says we are not ruling out any motive here when they don't know, because had this been a white male doing this, they wouldn't have even looked for a motive. They would have randomly assigned a motive that fits the narrative the best. So they would have said, the headline would have been something like John Smith, fundamentalist Christian, went on a shooting rampage in the name of white supremacy. I mean, that's the kind of title we would have had in this article today, instead of us waking up to shooting in Danforth. I mean, those were the main article titles. So them omitting to say the name of the suspect and them omitting to put the picture of the suspect is very, very telling, and we should all be questioning why this is happening. And at the same time, we're being told don't jump to conclusions. Well, then post the damn picture, right? Put the guy's name and post the damn picture, and nobody's gonna go and jump to any freaking conclusion. It gets me really mad. It gets me mad because people act surprised when we have these shootings. People act shocked, and then they have thoughts and prayers. And I'm part of the camp that says, thoughts and prayers are not going to do anything. We have to call things by their names, identify the real cause of the issues, which in this case is probably a mix of illegal immigration that we are tolerating in our country in the name of diversity, multiculturalism, no borders, all cultures are equal, that kind of crap. And a mix of some kind of Islamic terrorism. We don't know yet, but it's very likely that that's what it's going to be. And it gets me really angry that we just keep doing these thoughts and prayers things and people act all shocked. I mean, my entire Facebook was full of shocked people going, oh my gosh, what is happening? No, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to keep happening until we actually have honest conversations and really look at what the leftists are doing to our country. So anyways, I'm actually surprised they haven't blamed it on Trump yet. And it's probably coming. They're probably going to find a way in the next few days. Just watch. The CBC is going to have an article coming out going how Trump is responsible for the shooting in Toronto. It's almost inevitable at this point. And it's such a joke. It's such a joke. But anyways, guys, I'm going to stay close to this one. I'll bring you another update when I have one on this. And stay safe out there.